of
Right,
Road Comics Adventures.
we're live.
Yay! We're live. We're a little stressed getting onto this. I mean, it's been 3 days. We had to retrain again. I'm Rene Bray. My partner is.
I am Flip Orley.
And we're here. You called it the last time our maiden voyage. I thought of it more as the Titanic.
Yeah, I mean, as it turns out, we bumped off the iceberg. I don't think we actually sank, but it was rough.
No, and what's amazing is we actually figured out we had 700 viewers between Facebook and YouTube.
Right. Not all live. I mean, a lot of recorded people watching later.
Right. But that was 696 more than I thought we were going to have.
Right. Now I think last time we streamed live on Facebook, this time I told everyone we'd be streaming live on Facebook, but we fooled them and we're streaming live on YouTube. So good luck finding us.
Well, see, here's the funny thing. I told everybody we would be on YouTube. And the last time I told everybody we'd be on YouTube and we weren't. And quite honestly, it's not our fault. Every time we touch on electronics, anything electronics.
Wait, is that how you want to start the sentence? It's not our fault?
Or do you want to I was trying to figure it out and you could see I couldn't get there.
In my defense. We're not overly technically.
We're not technical.
Yeah.
You're more technical than I am.
So until we really kind of get momentum, not to sound cheap, we're being frugal. We're using the free version. And so we found out just before going live that we could only do one social media platform live at a time. And last time we opted for Facebook. This time we're opting for YouTube. And so all the Facebook people are going to be confused when we're not there.
Well, let's just put it this way. These are people that watched our YouTube our video the last time. They're already confused people.
Well, not untrue.
Plus, it's been a very long week because you, as we discussed last week, you were not feeling well. You're still not feeling well.
Well, I rarely talk about my medical whatever, but I ended up, I know the lighting is weird. I ended up with like an ear infection, and it's just been pervasive. So I'm shading a little bit to my right side because this side is just all.
I still can't point my finger in the right direction. That's amazing to me. That's something wrong with me.
That's left.
Oh, there you are.
Yeah.
There you are. That means you're a handful. But at least you didn't have to work this week, so you got to stay at home and rest.
Which has been nice. The last 3 or 4 weeks have been, a lot of driving, a lot of traveling, so it'd been nice to be home and relax a little bit.
Yeah. So, and I haven't worked in 5 years. So there you go. I'm pretty relaxed, finally. But we have a special guest coming on tonight.
Ooh, let's talk about him for a moment. He's someone that I do not know, but that you know well.
And I hope I've spoken of him often because I say his name in vain frequently. And that is Bill Alcock. Insert your own joke here. And he is the owner of Winner's Circle Bar and Grill. And if you remember correctly, that's where I did my very final show and had a blast. It could not have been a better send-off to 30 years of comedy.
Really fun.
Yeah. I also hold the record for the most time the police were called to the Winner's Circle.
I'm not sure. I guess that's an award-winning situation. I'm not. I guess.
Well, here's what I like. I like the expression on your face when I say that because you're just like, wow, been doing comedy 45 years, never had the police call. Here's the problem and what makes me different from you See, you do this very elegant, very chic, very talented show. You're hysterically funny, and I was knock it off because I know you're really humble, but I'm your manager, and I'm going to tell the truth. And that is, it's all really good and really funny. I am the drinking, partying, let's throw down kind of comic that causes upheaval. Well, when you put a bunch of men in a room and they're drinking, everybody's deciding who's got the biggest glass of beer or whatever, and then they want to fight. And the fights were mostly not my fault. occasionally, occasionally, some man would yell at me and I would yell back at him. And then he would yell something back at me. And as a comic, there's no use in yelling at us because we're going to win. It's not our first time. You know, you're an amateur heckler. I'm a professional shutting them down. And then they would get upset. And a lot of times they would try to rush the stage. And for whatever reason, the staff would think that was time to call the police. So it really wasn't my fault.
In my defense.
In my defense, it was just a bunch of stupid guys.
So I did a corporate show for a car company here in Lafayette. This is a billion years ago. So they introduced me, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome comic hypnotist Flip Orley. And I get up there. I'm like, hey, how you guys doing? And I hear this one guy scream to another guy, you can take your effing Chevrolet and shove it up your effing ass. And then a fist fight ensued and tables were turned over. And I'm just sitting, I literally go, hey, how you all doing tonight? and I'm watching like far in the back where I didn't think I was going to get any debris. And so the fight came to an end and they're like now dusting people off and they're turning tables back over. And there was this woman who sat in the front row. She goes, go continue on with your comedy sketches. Right?
Yeah. So, do your little comedy skit thing.
Yeah. I'm like, I don't know if I can recover from this. And they're like, oh, you'll be fine. Just recover from it. So I'm like, yeah. All right. I go, well, you know, I don't have to start over all that much because all he said was hi. So hi again. And I had to go, I told you to shove that Chevrolet up your effing ass. And the fist fight ensued again. And it was like 10 times worse the second time. And I just look and I go, ladies and gentlemen, as this continues, I don't believe that I can recover from this one. And I walked off the stage. And as I left, I said to the guy that was DJing the party, I go, wow, you know, there's a corporate event. I'm sure someone's going to get fired out of this one. And he goes, oh, no. That was the owner and his son-in-law.
That's the best right there. My best fight is with an audience member. I was in Beaufort, South Carolina. And if you know Beaufort, it's the home of the Marine Base boot camp. And apparently a bunch of these boot camp guys had just graduated and decided to come to the bar where I'm performing. And one of these guys decided to heckle me. Well, probably about 6 months into my career, I had gone to see another female comic in a club because, you know, I didn't get to see very many female comics. Right. And I watched her walk off stage crying from a heckler. So that was the day I decided nobody was ever going to do that to me. So I'm pretty good at handling hecklers. Bill will tell you because he's a heckler. So I'm across, there's this young kid out of boot camp thinking he's all full of himself. And I gave him 21 shots. He yelled at me and I went right back at him 21 times. And finally he goes, I'm going to kick your ass. Now all of his friends are trying to hold him back. Meanwhile, the other two comics I'm working with are going, I bet he doesn't, because she's pissed and she's about to go after him. But they stopped him and took him outside. But the club owner afterwards goes, we're going to be escorting you to the car because we think this kid is really drunk and really wants to hurt you.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like, wow, I've never had that happen. But I mean, as a female comic, that's one of the things that I faced a lot more. I believe a lot more than most of the men. But
Right.
I didn't care. That was part of the fun of it. And my kids loved it because I would come home all relaxed. I'd yelled at somebody for an hour and a half. You know, they go, look, she had a heckler. How good is it?
Right.
But, you know, the alternative to that is right before I quit comedy, Ryan was my son, was riding with me. He was driving me to gigs. So he would
Right.
say, and I was at Gregory's on the beach in Cocoa Beach one night, and a guy starts to heckle me. And he said something that was pretty nasty. And all of a sudden, I see my 38-year-old son go like this and start to come out of his chair. And I'm like, oh, no. Oh, I don't need Ryan getting into a fight in a club over something. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm okay. And I'm like, and I told the guy, I said, you turn around and look at that kid behind you. That's my kid. I would just shut up.
Right.
And because we're trying to stay clean, I'll pretend like that's what I said.
Well, extrapolate, use your imagination. We know what's going on here. Hey, real quick, we don't have any sponsors for the show, do we?
Well, no, we don't. Would you like some?
If we did, we don't. But if we did, it's like, hey, from little dribbles to full-on sticky messes, body paper towels. Pick her up.
I'm not going to say what I really want to say. That was really sweet.
Little dribbles to full-on sticky messes and everything in between.
Would you please not make me laugh through this entire thing? Because the last one, I couldn't watch it because first of all I did was laugh through the whole thing. And second of all, it made me start laughing all over again. And I wish I could say that my days weren't like that anyway, but that's why you're my partner, because you make me laugh all the time. Put the paper towels down. This is why we're adorable. You're not.
Oh, shit. How did that happen?
You mean, dang it.
Shoot. Jiminy Crickets.
You are no longer adorable.
Oh, wait. I don't know if I can change it.
And I apologize for looking at my phone. Oh, Stacy Christmas, one of my people from Lakeland, subscribe to our channel. That's wonderful, Stacy. Thank you so much.
Oh,
and Flip doesn't want us to use anybody's last name, but I know
I don't know if they would mind or not. I don't know if they'd mind.
Stacy wouldn't care. Stacy has spread herself all over Polk County. Let's just say that. Oh, I'm waiting for her to send me a text message or something. No, Stacy's good people. I've known her for a long time. What?
Is she single?
I don't know if she is. But I can fix you up.
All right. There you go.
Well, I am your pimp. Is that not what you called me earlier today, sort of?
Well, I mean, if you want to, I called you Huggy Bear, so there's
that. And you asked me about my hat, and I told you that Stacy could tell you. I know she's been at shows where I've been wearing hats. I have the hat for her.
Right.
But I do feel like a pimp sometimes when I'm calling people.
It's really unfortunate. I know. I'm trying. Not enough cord. Let's see.
Not enough cord. See, Stacy's not gonna want to date you if you admit that you don't have enough cord.
Is this better or worse?
It's fine. Great.
Trying to cut back on the shadows.
Oh, well, see, can you tell how much I care? I can't go fix the lighting here because if I stand up,
Got it.
whole different show rating. I'm just waiting. Is anybody writing in the comments or anything?
I don't know. I mean, well,
Isn't the comments on the right side?
I'll post a comment. Let's see. You guys are really funny.
Second.
Look at that.
Ah, well, we are really funny. We're sad and pathetic.
But I don't know where they I don't know where they did that from. I don't know if they do that from
They do it on
StreamYard.
YouTube. You can do it on YouTube.
You know that for a fact?
Yeah, I know because before you and I got together, I spent a lot of time watching true crime stuff on YouTube, and I would go in the comment sections and write all kinds of things. So if somebody wants to send us a message, they can do it through the YouTube comment section. Or if you have my cell phone number, you can text me, which is funny because I don't give anybody hardly my number.
Right.
Or you can post it on our Facebook page. And if you don't mind me looking at our phone, I will check it out on my Facebook page. But nobody had any questions for us, which concerns me. I think people might just be looking at us and going, leave them alone. They're getting ready to be sent to the home. Just let them go. Wait till we get to
do you remember your first big road trip where you had strung together a number of dates?
Oh, I remember it. My first road trip was I worked with a guy named Alan Prophet, who I just reconnected with on Facebook the other day. I was in Louisville and I was going to Evansville, Indiana.
Right.
I don't remember how far it was, but I remember getting in the car and going, I'm a stand-up comic. I'm a stand-up comic all the way. Like it's a 3 or 4 hour gig and you're checking into the hotel and it's the greatest thing in the world. You could have told me I was going to be on Carson that night and I wouldn't have been nearly as excited as I was about being in Evansville, Indiana. What about you?
So the first time I left town to do shows, I did shows at the Comedy Store in La Jolla. But open, I'm not, making it a bigger deal than it is. It was open mic nights. And truth be told, I actually had pretty good sets. And then I came back to Phoenix and I did a show at a club called Chuckles and invited like everyone I knew because at that point it's like I'm a comic. I had just had 2 sets in California that went well. And
I hear the law of averages about to strike.
I could not have imagined eating more crap that night. And sadly, with like a lot of people that I knew that I had invited into the showroom. In fact, after that show, most of the people that I knew told me that they wouldn't come back until I sent them like an audition tape for them to review.
See, one of the best memories I have during the starting out period, and I don't know if people understand how we get to be comics, but a lot of it is being willing to do other stuff. For example, picking the headliner up at the airport is a big one. And Tom Sobel, who was the booking agent, said to me, hey, are you off tomorrow? And I said, I work for you in the office. Am I off tomorrow? And he goes, yeah. He said, you're going to pick up, and I forget the comic's name. You're going to pick him up at the airport here in Louisville, and you're going to take him to South Bend, Indiana. Now, South Bend, Indiana is all the way in northern Indiana, so you're going to be in the car for a while. And he said, you're going to be the MC. Now, I hadn't been doing comedy long enough to know which it was. So I said, that's the first person, right? And so Will starts laughing. And he goes, yeah, you'll be the first one. Because if you go to a comedy club, chances are the first guy you ever see come onto the stage is the one with the least amount of experience.
Right.
But what Sobel didn't tell me, it was called the Boilermaker. And it was right across from Purdue University, and there were 600 to 700 people in the room that night. And I walked out to the makeshift stage that they've got out there and went, oh, I think I might be in trouble. I think I did the little happy dance way before I should have. And I had no idea how to MC. But those are the kind of gigs where that's our comedy college. That's where we learn. And I learned a lot of lessons that night.
I'll bet. There was this club in Tempe. Right now there's the Improv. But years ago, like a mile east of that university in Apache, was a club called Chuckles, and it was 500 seats, 2 stories, big stage, beautiful club. And one night I was emceeing, and the manager goes, "Don't do any time. Just introduce yourself, ask the person, do these announcements, and then bring in the first act." And I go, all right. And in those days, I probably had 5 solid minutes, 12 crappy minutes, but of the 12 crappy minutes, 5 were solid, right? 7 not so solid. So I go up, I introduce the opener. The opener goes like 5-10 minutes short. And the middle act wasn't there yet. So as the opener was going, "Thanks, good night," the manager ran up, hit me on the shoulder, and goes, "Fill with 30." And like as the opener's leaving, I'm going on the stage, and I just, in my head, it's just ringing, "Fill with 30, Erdy, Erdy." And I get up there, and there's like 400 people in the room. I'm like, "All right, another round of applause for so and so." And now I'm looking at like these 400 people, and I froze. And I go, "Y'all want to hear a joke?" 400 people, "Yeah."
And you were off and running.
And then a local comic, a guy named Joe, walked in, and they rushed him up the stage, and he grabbed me by the shoulders, and he took the microphone out of my hand. And as he's walking me off stage, frozen, just freaking out, he's like, "And another round of applause for Flip O'Reilly. Wasn't he great?"
But you learned a lot that show, didn't you?
I learned a lot about suicide prevention.
One of the, you start to look back, and you know this. I started to write a book about doing stand-up comedy as a single mom, and I started it just to leave it for my children and grandchildren, because when I retired, and it wasn't until I retired, my grandchildren go, "Were you really a comedian?" Yes, I was really a comedian, but I've had a hard time convincing them.
Right.
So I wanted to write this book. And one of the really good memories I had is Sharon Smith, who had the club in Jackson, Tennessee. Oh, I loved that club. It was a 2-story club, homemade Italian food. It was really good.
Quick Mogul. Do you know who that is?
No, I have no idea, because it's not their name, but I don't know who it is. But what happened was, all of a sudden, the power went out in the whole club. Pitch black, except for the little candles. And Sharon sent the club manager up to me to tell me we were just going to have to end the show. Well, I saw my paycheck getting cut, and I went, "End the show? What are you, nuts?" And she said, "How can you do a show without that?" And I go, "I have 3 kids. I can call them from 6 subdivisions away. I don't need a microphone." Right. And I just held the little candle right here. And I did probably the last 25 minutes of my set. And people go, "Oh, how awful." No, that was one of those great experiences I'll never forget. I see somebody with a hat and probably wearing shorts.
I'm
I
going
bet that's
to
Bill.
bring him in. Would you like to introduce him?
Yes, this is, well, I'm going to call him my dear friend. That may change as we get later into the show. However, I love and adore this man. Please welcome Bill Alcock. How you doing, Bill?
I'm great. I'm sad that I just put my name in as Bill instead of Adorable 3.
Total amateur hour. What are you gonna do?
Bill, this is Flip. Flip, this is Bill.
Flip, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you doing?
Yeah. Why are you so quiet all of a
for
sudden?
now.
Do you want me to start this like we did your roast? See, Flip, this is how crazy this man is. First of all, he owns a nonprofit organization called FENS, which stands for Friends in Needs of Service. And it takes a lot of money to run it, and Bill isn't really good at asking for money. So for his birthday one year, he decides to do a fundraiser, and he goes, let's do like one of the old-fashioned roasts, and you all can roast me. Oh my God, it was the most fun I've ever had doing a show because I know.
Yeah, I bet it was.
It was. Do you still have any? You know, I never did get a DVD.
No, that's true. That was a good time, though. That was fun.
That was a good time because Bill does stupid stuff on a regular basis.
Yeah, in the beginning, our famed radio personalities.
Oh yes. Well, here's one of the things he did, and here's how cheap he is, which is why I had to retire from comedy.
Frugal.
Tomato. Got it.
Yeah. In his defense, the UFC fights are very expensive. And he didn't want to pay for them in the club. And at the time, he lived 4 houses behind the club. So he got a big blow up screen, you know, that you can get for your yard to show movies and stuff on. Yeah. And he would take the patrons from his bar down to his house, and the waitresses would run back and forth with the orders.
That is genius.
Thank you.
No,
it was.
I knew this was going to happen. I knew you two would team up against me.
No, I'm not. I'm just as a casual observer to sidestep that outrageous fee and make it sort of a patio party.
Oh, it was definitely a yard party. It was a good time. It was $2,500 to show it in the bar, and it was $99 to show it at my house.
Yeah, do the math.
Yep.
You know, I never do pay-per-view ever. And then I guess they were showing video of Mike Tyson preparing for this Jake Paul fight, right? And it's Tyson's 150 years old, but he looks really good. That'd be fun. I've never, like the last Tyson fight I think I watched was the ear-chewing Holyfield thing.
Yeah. And
the price was right because all you had to have was like a Hulu account. So I got a Hulu account, which I hate Hulu. Oh, wait, for our podcast purposes, I love Hulu. They're great.
You see your manager's face go, what did you say?
I love Hulu. So that was such a mistake. But like that was the worst fight I've ever seen. And even like for a $5 monthly fee for Hulu, I still felt like I was screwed. It was horrible.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, it's
the only UFC fight I ever paid for was an Anderson Silva fight because I love Anderson Silva. I think much like I talk about you on stage, Flip, is the way he fights. It's very elegant. He's got a plan. He works the plan, and he's very skilled. And I love that. I got to watch something like a 2-minute, 30-second fight where he breaks his leg. And I go, if I ever think about getting a pay-per-view again, I'm going to just suck on a 9mm. It'll be easier. By the way, Bill,
cheap.
I'll tell you this since I haven't updated you on a lot of the news in my life, just to fill you in. First of all, I quit smoking 15 weeks ago.
Oh, is that why you're hitting that vape so hard?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
so-
especially when I saw your face, that made me want to
No, right.
suck on something.
Yeah,
Really
that'll do it.
The other thing is, I manage Flip's career now. How do you think he's doing?
At the moment, he looks okay, but Flip, do you have any psychiatrist on speed dial?
I don't.
Because you're going to need.
Well, here's the big kicker. We're starting a road trip, and guess who's going to be on the road trip?
Not you. Who?
He and I are traveling together because he hasn't been tortured enough in his life, and he goes, this looks like it's about as much torture. Would you ever go on a road trip with me?
Hell no. No. Are you crazy? No.
Yeah,
I would
am.
jump out of the vehicle. And I'd be driving,
He's
of course.
driving,
and
so we're going to go.
I would jump out of the vehicle within 5 minutes down the road.
So here's another way that he's stupid. Bill.
Which one are you talking about?
Bill.
Right.
Okay.
Oh, of course.
Bill goes on vacation. He and one of his many girlfriends. By the way, hello, Jeremiah. I am so glad to see you, Jeremy.
Do you know Jeremiah?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
He's from Lakeland. Bill knows him too. Anyway, Bill is going on vacation with one of the many, dare I say, bartenders that he dated. And he says to me, I mean, it was a miracle. He's still dating the last one that was there when I was there. And you talk about Flip being crazy for traveling with me. Let's talk to Jackie for a little while because she's still with you. What is she thinking? But
I don't think you want to talk to her.
He left to go on vacation, and
Let's
he
leave it
said
at it.
he's got a great staff. The staff is amazing at Winter Circle. He goes, the staff can handle everything, and he goes, I know you can handle the comedy part, no problem. And he goes, just keep things mild, okay? And I said, Bill, no problem. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of the comedy show while you're gone. And he goes, okay. So the next day I start getting text messages. Tell him why you got text messages. What pictures were you getting? Do you remember?
Yeah, I'll tell you why I got text messages. I think I was in Alaska at the time. So there's like a 4-hour time difference, right? And I'm like, knowing that the show is going on, looks like everything's going well for the first 2.5 minutes, maybe. Then all of a sudden, I'm getting pictures of military men doing body shots off of Rene.
Yeah.
What could possibly go wrong?
Wow.
Well, it was one guy. He was young. He was handsome. And I said, do you want to do a body shot? And he said, yes. What did you think I was going to say? I wanted to make sure your customers were happy when they left. And he looked pretty freaking happy when he left. I know I was happier.
I know I wasn't. When I got the pictures, I was like, what is happening? Leave it to you.
Well,
and then, Flip, mind you, I got a phone call then, and the phone call is her on stage. And she goes, don't ever leave me in charge and you not be at a show ever again.
Well, I just wanted to make sure you knew. But well, you got all of these comics that you hire that are lazy, that sit at home and watch the news and watch their families and write material. I'm innovative because I said, hey, I bet I can go to work tonight and not only get paid to do comedy, but I bet I can get a guy to do a body shot, and he did it.
Oh, he sure
But
did.
but other comics ever done that? Have they?
No, you're the only one. You
There
still
you
hold
go.
the record. I
I
mean,
think
James
I
Johnson
told
was thong, but at least no one's doing body shots off of them.
well, and I've also done a couple of blowjob shots at your place.
Thank you for adding shots at the end of that.
Well, yeah, because your house was just 4 houses down.
Flip, you sure?
We'll get you in trouble for
sure
this.
You want to go on the road?
You know what?
Oh,
I'm so like everything about my life. I always think, well, I've had a good run. You know, if it were to end tomorrow, I had a good run. So sure, what the hell?
End it may now.
Roll the dice.
And see, he can sit there and play all innocent, but he's not, and he's a nut magnet. See, where I may, you know what? I just realized I called you a nut magnet, and who's going on the road with you?
Well, you're not wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
But what I think is funny is Bill is never as shy as he is right here.
Who's shy? That moment. Body shots. I was like, yeah, well, that's Grady Judd territory. You're going to get me shut down.
Yeah, I wound up having a lot of deputy friends over in Polk County because they had been there. Well, that and the fact that it was the best part about Winner's Circle. You could stand on stage and across the street was a Krispy Kreme, and the hot light would come on that the donuts had just come out. But most of all, I always wanted coffee. See, I wouldn't have drank tequila if you'd have had coffee.
Wait, you don't have coffee?
No. What we do now is there's a coffee shop across the street. So that's our coffee now. No, I want to sell tequila, not coffee.
Yeah, you never sold me any tequila. I give you a lot of credit. In all seriousness, one of the nicest, easiest guys in the world to work for. Yeah, and I had more fun in that club than I had.
It's always been those shows where I know everybody's clamoring for you to come back, but you want to retire.
I'm not coming back.
I know you're not.
Although there's a rumor that we're looking to possibly do a show in your vicinity to help raise money for one of your causes.
Yes, and that would so would that include Rene getting on stage for maybe 10 minutes?
I'm keeping out of this one.
No, you're not, because I wouldn't make that. We're partners. I wouldn't make that decision without you. What do you think?
So it's going to be a fundraiser, you know. So whatever disappointment people have at the end of the night, the money's still going to a good cause.
Right.
But if they're coming there to see Rene, they're going to get anywhere from 90 to 100% me. And the only people who will think they saw Rene are the people I was able to get their ass hypnotized, because everybody else is going to know that I wasn't Rene. But I'll be on stage, like I could go, I'm Rene, and then they'd have a great time. But so if people want to come support a great cause and see my show, I think they'd have fun. But if they're coming to support a great cause and watch Rene's show, I don't think it's going to work out.
Why don't we just let Rene introduce you then? At least she's there for people to see that you're there, and then she just introduces you.
I would never say no to whatever, you know. So if Rene wanted to do, and we're talking about you like you're not here, and I know you are. So if Rene wanted to do like a set, she could. If she wanted to introduce me, she could. We could even, we could even at Winner's Circle, we could do like a podcast with everyone. They could come in and ask questions and drink and have a good time like the day before or the day after.
How would you like that, Bill?
Yeah, we could do that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, let's do that. And this wasn't Flip's decision. He's just backing me on mine. I've been telling him since the day we met, I've had no desire to get back on stage again. And the only place I would do it is Winter Circle. But Flip and I are so different that he doesn't need me getting people whipped up in a little frenzy before they get up to volunteer to hypnotize. We're a horrible match together that way. We're great business partners. We're best of friends. On stage, we're a freaking nightmare together.
We have very, very, very different shows.
Very different.
Oh yeah.
Except for the one time where you drank the
Yeah,
bottle of
Flip, yours
Bill,
is probably actually good.
Bill, you know what? we can even the field. Rene can get up, do a set, and then you come on stage and I'll do a body shot off you. Huh?
Alpha Bill?
Oh, yeah.
There we.
Listen to how.
Hey, if it's to raise money, there's not a whole lot of things I want.
And tightening up so tight right there because he doesn't know whether you're kidding or not.
Yeah, did you see? Like, you could see it in my face that I'm afraid of what I'm agreeing to.
No, we could do the podcast either the day before or the day after. That would be a blast. I really want to see everybody, but I really don't want to do comedy anymore. You know, I just don't. I love to watch Flip. I saw him 35 years ago, and I never forgot him in the 35 years because he was that good. And I
want to see the show myself.
Yeah, I just want to do what I do with Flip, and that's all I want to have to do with comedy, except doing this podcast, which I find a lot of fun. And I would love to see everybody, especially at Winter Circle. So if we could do the
that
podcast.
would be, I would think like the night before would be best, that way some of the people that maybe haven't even got tickets or didn't know about it, so the night before we bring everybody in, everybody gets to see everybody. And if they still want to get tickets, they can. It'd be better off doing it beforehand than after. So I like the idea of doing.
What do you think? Is that all right, Flip?
Works for me. And that way, if we drink, I have all next morning to recover.
Yeah.
Good point.
You don't know what he doesn't know what drinking is.
It's Winter Circle. There's no if. You'll be drinking.
Well, and again, I've never been one to drink on stage, and the reason why I don't, I normally have a lot of volunteers that I'm responsible for, and what I've discovered over the years, you don't want to get the hypnotist drunk while he's still hypnotizing. So, through the years, I've been sort of an alcohol wuss. So I know I can't hold my own. So I'm going to do like one shot for every 3, one shot for every 4, and I'll still get more messed up than both of y'all.
There you go.
But I'm in.
I told him at one point I was a professional drinker, and I think I was. But would you be surprised to know that since I've retired, I've maybe had 2 drinks, and that was at dinner with friends?
Well, it happens when we get older. I don't drink nearly what I used to.
Did you just say get older?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not only am I coming to do a podcast, I'm coming to whoop your ass.
Yeah,
you don't tell a woman they're older. I mean,
Bill,
even Flip's figured that out, for crying out loud.
What's this whole putting a knee in someone's neck that Rene keeps talking about?
A knee in someone's neck.
Yes, my former career in law enforcement, where I can put you on the ground and put my knee in your neck.
Oh yeah, believe it or not.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can still do that. I may not be in as good a shape as I used to be, but
you can still, Do you still have handcuffs?
FO, my friend.
Has that happened in your club?
That's happened twice.
The day I was in Alaska, maybe. I don't know. It may have, but I never put it past her because I know, being a former police officer, I had a joke at my roast about why she was no longer a police officer, but I better not go there now. But yes, the knee and the neck thing, and I'm sure she still has handcuffs, and or she'll beat you with a shoe or something. I don't know. She will win. I would not fight Renee because she will win somehow.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That is
good.
And well, never mind. Never mind. There's no way I'm going to come out really good in that, and Flip's going to get slighted too in that one. Never mind. But it's happened twice in your club. Do you remember that first room you had where there was a door behind the stage?
Yes. Yeah, that was the original.
That was the original Winter Circle.
That was in like 02, 03.
Okay. And a guy came in from behind, and he decided to touch me on the back. And that was all it took to send me over the moon. And I put him down and had my knee in his neck.
Oh, wow.
And we typically used to lock that door. And I don't know why the door wasn't locked. So they would have went to the side door. And I was as surprised as you were when somebody came through that door. And
I wouldn't have even noticed, but he touched me on the back. And I thought it was somebody coming at me. And I go, that's not going to happen.
And I was on my way to the stage and then real quickly turned around and went, she don't need me. She's good.
And it also happened at the Howard Johnsons. Do you remember? Do you remember the guy? We had a guy in a wheelchair that was sitting right in front of the bar.
Please tell me you threw a guy in a wheelchair on the ground.
No, I did not. No. It was the guy.
That's what I was just the wheelchair.
To serve the guy at the bar because they told him he was too drunk. And he said, if you're going to give her a drink, you're going to give me a drink. And whoever was bartending or you were dating at the time said, she gets however many drinks she wants. And he goes, well, then I'll take it from her. And he knocked the guy out of the wheelchair and got right up to the stage. And I just pulled him right down and dropped him and put my knee in his neck. And I go, and once again, that was one of those times where they go, I guess you better call the cops. Well, somebody's got to do something because I got a guy underneath me right here. I'd appreciate you removing him so I can finish my set, Yeah.
It's probably a good thing she retired, huh, Flip?
More and more, I'm starting to wonder.
You don't need security on your road trip, that's for sure.
Good to know. I've only needed security, I think, a couple times. I did a one-nighter in New Jersey at a bar called Friendly's, and that name is a misnomer.
Yeah.
The audience were the characters, and they were mean, and there was an opener that went up for me, and they heckled the living hell out of this guy. And I said to the owner, I go, they don't want to show. Like, just go ahead and you keep your money and I'll leave. He's like, and this is a quote. He goes, if you get them, you got them. And I go, yeah, but nobody can get them. He goes, but if you get them, you got them. I go, yeah. If I were to get them, I would got them, but I'm not going to get them because they're not gettable. And we went round and round and round and round. And I go, look, last chance. I go, if I step 1 foot on that stage, I want to be paid, no matter what happens. And he goes, no problem. I go, you're making a huge mistake. And I got up on stage and I go, hey, how you doing? And a guy got up from the audience and he came on stage and started chest bumping me, like in an intimidating. And I'm looking at the owner and the bartender, and they're at the bar laughing. And I just go, all right, well, I'm not getting paid combat wages. I'm not putting up with this BS. And I shut the show down. And then I had a big argument with the owner, and I eventually got my money, and I ran out of there like a $20 lady of the evening who got paid in cash and was afraid of getting rolled.
Well, Flip, do you remember that a woman, the first night you and I met, and I had finished my set, and a woman got up and started to come near the stage, and I was sitting at the bar, and I started to head her off, and then she left, and we talked about that afterwards. Do you remember that or not?
Only vaguely.
But I was ready to drop her because I thought she was coming after you. And at the time, you were doing what I now know is the induction to the hypnosis, and you had your back to the stage. And I was like, oh no, this woman is not going to tackle me. But I had done too many rodeo shows already at that time where if you got up and moved towards the stage, I was ready to go, you know.
I don't have the same kind of
Rene.
hoopla that Rene seems to. But I mean, I've had my few experiences, but thankfully, very few police were involved ever.
Yes,
Well,
yeah. Rene, remember I told you about the Gallagher show that we had at Winter Circle?
Gallagher,
We had
or Gallagher 2?
And
Gallagher
yes,
too, right?
we did a Gallagher weekend, and we rented a tent because we did it outside so he could make as much of a mess as he wanted to. And he was just not happy the entire time. And this was the first show. This was the Friday night show. We still had a Saturday night show to do. By the end of the show, we probably had 150 people there. By the end of the show, any noise that was being made or whatever, he was just like, get him out of here. Get him out of, just yelling at people left and right. And finally, one of my friends had a table of like 20 people, and they were just, Gallagher had told some joke, and they were reminiscing about, you know, remembering back when this kind of thing happened with them. They were just talking low.
Right.
And he was like, get that table out of here. Get them out of here. So they decided to go inside instead of leave. Well, the next thing you know, he gets in his truck and he's driving back behind the stage. He stops his truck. This is a good friend of mine now. Stops his truck, goes up on the stage, grabs one of Gallagher's pies and hit him right in the chest with it. And said, out.
Wow.
Yeah.
What's the
and then
worst-
the next night I was, oh God, here we go again. Like, I got to do this again, another show with him. And Artie Fletcher was traveling with him, and Artie opened up for him. And I'm like, Artie, what is going on with him? You know, so the next night the show comes, and I'm like, oh God, what's going to happen tonight? But he was a totally different human that night. Like, he was happy. He was having a good time. He was giving away T-shirts. You know, nobody threw anything at him. So it was a successful weekend. But that Friday night show was a nightmare. A nightmare.
That's how we're going to judge your shows from here on in, Flip. Hey, nobody threw anything at you.
You know, that's a big one for me. Not a fan of that kind of deal. Who do you know? Do you know Datio? Do you know who that is?
No.
Yeah.
She was bored during the induction. Oh, that's very funny stuff, Datio. You know, you got to do the... I'm sorry, Flip. I interfered with you. Do you mind if I handle this as your manager? I mean, do you want to stop me or not?
I'm going to stop. You know,
Okay.
I think a lot of people are bored during the induction, but you still have to do. Bill, did you know that you can't have hypnotized people on stage until you hypnotize them? You can't have hypnotized people on stage until you hypnotize them.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just saying.
You know me, Flip. Datio believes that you know her. Oh, I see your wheels spinning.
No, I'm just reading Jordan.
Oh,
Jordan Garnett.
Jordan Garnett. Yeah, Jordan's back and doing well. As a matter of fact, we're going to be working his club. We're going to be working the Park Theater in. We're going to be working the Park Theater in.
I know.
You're not going to. No, you don't. You're not. Holland, Michigan.
I wanted to say Hobart, and I knew that was wrong, and I wasn't going to say Hobart because I knew it was wrong. Damn it.
Yeah, Holland doesn't return phone calls.
Holland, Michigan. So we're going up to Michigan, to Holland, Michigan, and there's a beautiful theater by the name of the Park, and we're going to do that September
19.
Yep.
Because we know that because it's very special for a couple of reasons. One, remember we found out it's Woman Road Warrior Day.
Yes.
And it's also
Arr!
Pirate Day.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, Jordan, he is terrible with names. So when you go to write his check, if you forget, you speak to the manager and she'll take care of that. How does that make you feel, Flip?
Oh, Jordan put out some good shows.
Yeah, he did. Jordan probably at a couple of times has challenged, let's say, my drinking. But, just much like me, he doesn't drink anymore. Has a great act, great kid. He's like one of my kids, except I like
we all slow down time.
I
don't drink anymore either, but I don't drink any less.
Does it look like we're going to be able to put it together, Bill?
It's fun to see some of the guys that have been around for so long that just keep going and going and going and keep fighting and keep cranking out shows. There's so many of them that just, COVID, obviously you guys know what COVID did to the comedy scene, but a lot of guys were sticking with it and doing podcasts and things like that. So it's good to see everything back and everybody coming back and getting back out on the road again.
Yeah,
we just got to keep people from being so butthurt about it.
If you don't mind me being nice to you for a minute, but like Flip doesn't take compliments well, neither do you. Here's what I like to tell people because I give you a really hard way to go, Bill Alcock. But there's no probably kinder, generous soul than yours. I know that you've helped a lot of people, and a lot of times you didn't have the money in the FENS organization, and you did it out of your pocket and made a huge sacrifice. So if there's anybody listening, if you go to the Winner's Circle Sports Bar page, look for FENS down at the bottom, and you can click on there and make a donation at any time. But what Flip and I are hoping to do, because Winner's Circle is not a good place for Flip to do his show, but I've been talking about you, Bill, since
it's too small anyway.
Great place for a podcast. Great place for some food and drinking.
Right. It's just too small for your show.
But what we're hoping to do is to be able to get a show and put it together at the Polk Theater and make you some real money so you're not digging into your own pocket anymore.
And I think we can pull it off. I mean, it's just a matter of, I know that they do get some hefty fees or whatever. And, and honestly, if we get the support, then I'm not even worried about the fees because we can sell enough tickets. It's going to offset all that. So I'm not overly concerned about what they may charge if we can just get the support from the community, and everybody come out to the show, then everything will take care of itself.
But I know right now you have an urgent need for some money because you're helping a kid with leukemia. So if anybody can go and donate right now,
yes,
Bill would really appreciate it because it's a family he can help out. And, that's one of the great things about doing comedy. And I think Flip and I both agree on this is because of our whatever talent that we have or gift or whatever you want to call it. Each of us have taken a different branch of doing something that helps other people. I mean, Flip helps people sleep.
Did you realize, Rene, that's Vern's grandson?
Yes, I did.
That's who we're doing the leukemia. It's Vern's 14-year-old grandson.
Yeah.
So it kind of hits home a little harder, because Vern's with us.
Yeah, that's one of the guys that's been with Winner's Circle for a real long time, Flip. He's a real good guy. And I would love to come back to Winner's Circle, but I'm not doing comedy.
We'll do a podcast. We'll be fine.
We'll do a podcast.
Should be a hoot. You know what? We'll have a good time. It'll be a rip-roaring event. Then you're right. Bill will do the show the next night, and if people at the podcast find out they want to buy tickets, hopefully it'll be some available. But I'd like to sell it out and make y'all some money so you can actually do some good.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because we help all kinds of families in need. We do a big Christmas raffle that we do, and we raise anywhere between 10 and 15,000. We help all the local families in town that can't afford Christmas.
Right.
But in the meantime, that's our thing that we do at Christmas time. But there's always a need. Somebody can't pay an electric bill. Somebody, can't put food on their table. Or like Vern's grandson comes up with this, perfectly healthy baseball player, and all of a sudden just gets hit with this because he was just fatigued all the time and had some issues in his legs, and ends up going and, getting tested at 14 years old. And now he's battling, so
Right.
There's always a need for something, there's always a need.
God forbid,
somebody always needs something.
We're right in the middle of hurricane season, and you guys got hit hard last year. So, and I know you provided for a lot of people. You do.
Well, there's a lot of wonderful national and international charities, but when I have the opportunity, I'd rather do something much more local, where the money stays in a local area with someone who's going to make sure that the people who need the money get the money and get the help they need. And so that's why, Rene and I were talking. We're very, very excited to be able to hopefully pull this off and do this with you.
Yeah, I'm sure we can work it out, and that's the thing, like a lot of, this charity, every nickel and then some that goes right back to the community.
Right.
Exactly. I get people that just will, send $100 just for whatever, just because they know that we need it, but there is nobody on staff that's getting paid or nothing like that. Every nickel that comes in goes out, and I don't turn people down. So if it has to come out of my pocket, then so be it,
Right.
I mean, whatever we got to do. So I really appreciate you guys to put together a show and helping out, and my thing would be, I would really love to sell out that Polk Theater. It's a great place. I mean, Elvis played there, for God's sakes. You know what I mean? It's a very nice venue. They don't do a lot of things there, and I think that they need to, but this would give us an opportunity, to do something locally in a place like that we can, we can put 1,400 people in that place.
Right.
Well,
we would love to help out.
And I know Flip's manager intimately, and she's all for it. Not only that, and I'm going to say going to say one more nice thing about you, and then I'm back to letting you have it. When my son-in-law was killed, you were the only comedy person in the entire country that made a phone call to me that gave a damn whether I was okay or not, and I won't ever forget. Offered any assistance you can. I won't ever forget that. And anything I can do for you, I'm right there. That's why I picked your place to do my very last.
No, you always have. So you've always been there when I've reached out to you, and I knew that that was a really tough thing for you to go through, and you probably got tired of hearing from me, but I was going to check on you every single day. So,
I never get tired. Well, there have been times when I've tired of hearing from you. When you're on vacation, I don't want to hear from you anymore. But
I didn't want to hear from you either. I was on vacation, but I did.
You didn't hear from me. You just got pictures. I was control. Nobody got up and left. Nobody got in a fight. A guy was happy. I was happy. It's a perfect ending to a club. So I'm ready to get out of here, people. I Flip, you got any last words, like our website or?
Well, I can do all that. Bill, before we head out, anything you want to promote? Either your club, your charity one more time, anything else?
Yeah. Just, winnercirclesportsbar.com. It gives a list of everything that we do. And the fins, it's friendsinneedservices.org. You can go to that, or you can just go to the winnercirclesportsbar.com. You can go there. You can find the fins events. You can find every event that we do at the bar. And most importantly, when we get ready to do that show, we'll promote the heck out of it. And if we can just get Lakeland and Tampa and Orlando to get behind us and try to sell that place out, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, you've got Jay Hewlett doing a special event.
Next Friday, a week from Friday, he's actually coming in, and he reached out. We had already had the show booked. And, I've known Jay now for probably 15 years. So he reached out to me after he saw my post that Vern had put up and was like, how about we make this a charity event, and I'll just do the show, and then we'll just give the money. So that's a big one. It's a week from Friday. You can get tickets online or just make a reservation at the bar, and then come support Jay in that show, because all the proceeds for that are going directly to Vern's grandson.
Take it away, Flip.
You're a good egg. All right, our social media stuff. Let's see. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. I think everything is Road Comics Adventures, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So Road Comics, plural, Adventures, plural. And Rene and I are going on the road. We're going to do theaters, hopefully one in a town near you. We're going to be in Holland, Michigan. I do know it's Holland, Michigan. We're also looking at, can I say the Ohio date?
I don't have a signed contract, but
right.
It looks like we're going to be headed to my hometown, Wilmington, Ohio. I'll say
and
it.
We're going to be in Martinsville, West Virginia, at the Apollo Civic Theater.
Correct. And we've got everything lined up, just waiting for people to sign contracts, because I'm a glutton for punishment. I think Flip and I should be on the road with the German Shepherd for at least 2 weeks.
Oh yeah, we're taking my 87-pound German Shepherd on the road with us.
Perfect.
Oh, Marion Theater in Ocala, Florida on September
13th?
13th sounds right. Yeah. And just, I'm going to be at the Desert Ridge Improv and the Tempe Improv last 2 days of July, first 3 days of August. So, yeah, we're just getting tours together, Bill, and we're sort of transitioning mostly out of clubs and mostly into theaters. And I think we're going to hit it hard.
And in the meantime, we're filming a documentary about it.
Yep, absolutely. Email fnadorable@proton, that's proton.me. So we've got YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, email. We don't have a website right now.
I don't care if we ever have a website.
But we're easy to find. Social media. Road Comics Adventures on all your major platforms.
Or you can look up Rene Bray or Flip Orley. Flip's got a website too, fliporley.com.
The question was, is that the only theater in Florida? As of now, I've got a contract for the Marion. We have a contract for the Marion on September 13th, but we're looking at actually several theaters in Florida over the next, 6 to 8 months?
Yeah. And if you're a charity that would like to do an event like we're going to do for Bill, my email is the fnadorable at
proton.me.
Proton.me. Send me an email and I'll call you. I'll help you put a fundraiser together. That's what I've done a lot of my life. And we'll get Flip put in there, and any charity making some money too, because his shows will sell out. They sell out wherever they are. So that's what we like to do, and we like to travel, and we like to give each other a hard time. And There are some club owners that we love and adore that will always take care of. That would be you, Bill, in case you. And by the way, did you snarl?
Being nice to me. You're being nice to me, and I'm not used to that.
Well, I know. Flip's kind of softened me up a little bit.
Boy, Flip. Good job.
It's my natural charm.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, he's you know, a real man can soften up a woman. And you know, how many years have I been working for you?
Ouch! Yikes!
Since
I didn't know if you guys were going to catch that or not. But
really?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just let things go.
Right.
Since 2002, Rene, I look back. Your first show was 2002 that you did with me at the original.
Wow.
Long
wow. Time. Yeah, I miss you terribly because most of the time you didn't get how bad I was really picking on you, and that's always a wonderful thing too. So I do miss you, and I will take
such a way.
I believe the first week that Flip and I connected again, I talked about you.
Oh, we've talked about you bunches and bunches.
And that's why some of it was even good stuff that I told them.
Yeah, I was going to say, did you ever tell them how when your shoe broke, how I took care of you when your shoe broke at the club?
Well, first of all, let's preface this because my shoe broke because you have a crappy parking lot and I stepped in a hole and it got wet and the bottom split. So I come to you and I go, I can't be in the club with just one shoe. And he brings out Scotch tape. Now, what kind of man doesn't have a roll of duct tape?
No. I spared no expense. No, it was duct tape. I didn't spare any expense on you. It was duct tape.
You call it what?
I am a cobbler.
It was Scotch tape.
If Katy Perry is an astronaut, then I'm a cobbler.
Well, damn it. Now I want to play cobbler.
Because I fixed her shoe. With
cobbler?
Duct tape. And you know what, Rene? The funny thing is most of the time that you were at the club, you were barefoot on stage anyway. You kicked your shoes off.
That was kind of my thing. But I had wore flat shoes that night because you should have seen my feet when I got home after working your club. I'm just saying. And why don't you tell Flip the truth about the air conditioning in your club? Do you know what we had to do one night, Flip? I bet you've never had to do this at the Improvs where you were working there. His air conditioner had broken for the 5,000th time. And I'm on stage. Huh? What did you say?
It's fixed now. $25,000 later, it's fixed.
Yeah, and I'm not working anymore. Go figure. It was so hot in there, I was starting to sweat, and I don't like to sweat when I'm working. And I said, Bill, we got to do something. And he said, well, I don't know what to do. And I go, let's fix up a swamp cooler. And now this is from stage too. And I see 100 people staring at me like, what the hell is she talking about? Flip, do you know what a swamp cooler is?
Yeah, and are you out of your Vulcan mind? A swamp cooler in Florida?
Yeah. So I said, go get a bus pan, fill it with ice, and get the biggest floor fan you've got in here, and put the fan behind the ice and blow it towards the stage. We got through the rest of the show.
Yes, we did, Princess.
Dio or whatever wants to know when you're going to be in Arizona.
Oh, what about it? Yeah. Let's see. What are the 30 days? Says September, April. Okay. Wednesday, Thursday, which is July 30 and 31. Yeah. In Desert Ridge Improv in North Phoenix. August 1, 2, and 3, which is Friday, Saturday, Sunday at the Tempe Improv.
Yes, and he'll be celebrating then because that's the last road trip you go on by yourself, right?
far as I know.
Yeah.
As far as I know. Oh, shoot. I'm going to be in McKinney, Texas, end of this month.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about McKinney. I didn't book that. So who cares?
Comedy Arena in McKinney, Texas.
And then we'll be coming hopefully to Winter Circle, hopefully in October, maybe. Maybe
yeah, that's the thing. Just let me know the dates, what's good, and we can get it figured out. And I can. Did you say that you talked to Polk Theater?
Yeah, I've talked to Polk Theater several times. Well,
I'll go fix your mess and talk to him myself.
Did you hear that, Flip? Do you see why I'm angry and bitter about comedy? Do you see why I don't want to do it? Now, no, I didn't make a mess. I was very nice to Polk Theater. And I'll call you. How about if I call you tomorrow and we figure it out and let's get the show on the road. I've got his schedule, so I know what we've got.
Yeah, we'll go over some numbers and what they gave you, and then I can you get them more specific, kind of narrow it down to what dates we're looking at, and once figure out that it's charity, maybe they'll give us.
And like I said, if anybody else in any other city, now if we're going to do this fundraiser for Bill, don't all the charities from Polk County call us because we.
Yeah, right.
See, did you see where I was about to get myself into trouble? But if you're in Fort Myers, Fort Pierce, well, anywhere, actually, I don't care what city you're in what state, we can help you put a fundraiser together, and we're happy to do that. We just want to make sure we're not doing it in clubs. We're doing it in theaters where everybody makes real money. So,
and it's a bigger, better show on a bigger, better stage with more production. It's a better fed, actually.
And I do the
sound. Theater, Flip, how many people do you bring up on stage?
Depends on the room. I mean, again, if we're talking a big stage with 800, 1,000 people, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. That'll be a good time.
I was just in downtown Phoenix at a club called Stand Up Live, and I think we're doing 15. So I'll accommodate the number of chairs I can based on the safety and the size of the stage.
Right. Okay.
So, but I've heard good things. I mean, again, I don't want to ruin your reputation. I've heard good things about you, and I'm excited to meet you.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. We'll have a lot of fun at that podcast. We'll get this thing set up, and then we just, I'll get as many people out there as I can that'll push this thing, and if everybody can go out there and just, push tickets, get a group, get 10, 12 people to come, get somebody else in your group to get another 10 people, we can snowball this thing and, put 1,000 people in there.
This has actually been fun for me because you guys are two of my favorite people. And believe it or not, you have a lot more alike than you even know. You're both such sweet men that do a lot of good, that have a crusty outside. And look at both of your faces. That's worth it right there. I wish I had a screenshot of that because both.
Yeah, we know the secrets. We know. Flip, we'll be talking a lot while you're on this road trip, I'm sure.
You know what? I'm going to have your number on speed dial for my sanity.
Oh yeah. I will help you close that door before you jump out of it on the road.
You guys have been great, Bill. Thanks a million for coming on. It's good to.
Oh, anytime.
See you, old friend.
All right. Get in touch with me tomorrow, and we will get this whole theater set.
If you guys are interested in helping Bill with Polk Theater, go see him. Tell him you're willing to help, and we'll see what we can't put together. Good night, guys.
Thank y'all for watching. Bye.
Bye.
All right. Appreciate it.
There we go.